again and again, if they're working so hard on you, the brainwash is incredible. You don't even know that it's happening, but it's happening behind your very back. So when these little subtle things occur, just you're going like this, and with no hair, they know it means, we're talking about renunciation. We're talking about simplicity of life, like Gandhi said, he was talking about simple living, high thinking, that kind of model. We need to get it out there.
But not everyone has to be a renunciant. You can inspire people. We can inspire people.
Yeah, and there are people who do that, but there are not that many people who are going out. Or you get these monks and nuns who are living closely, so it's kind of like away from the world. But that's totally up to them. But it's nice to actually get out there and say, I'm here and I'm happy, and I'm happy in my simplicity. Yes.
Being here and now, like what are you doing in Florida now? Like are you walking, or are you on the teaching tour, or
Yeah,
visiting?
it's more like a teaching tour, that's right. I come every year at this time. This is a very good time to come to Florida, if you're from Canada, right? And actually, it's even kind of hot. Like, give me a break. Yeah, and so yes, I've been doing some classes in the books like the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is the Song of the Divine. And the follow-up book is called Bhagavatam, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is like an encyclopedia on spiritual life. And so I've been doing classes in the morning and in the evening with people sending messages, and even during the day we have some Zoom classes in the
Where
evening. I was in Gainesville area mostly.
Not yet.
Yeah, no, here is here. It's now.
Yeah.
It's now, right now, and you're there.
Now what are you doing here? I'm here.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily, it's not so formalized. I'm just talking about my walking experience. Because I thought that was a good way to, open up. Yes.
I was just going to say, tying in with what Nina said, and you even brought it up too. So, you don't have to be a monk to affect people's lives. Like, one thing I do in my own personal time, and now that I know you don't approve, I'm kind of sad. I'm kidding. But I play in a country western band.
Oh!
So I always look for a way I could, at least some kind of share Krishna consciousness in some way. And really, Krishna is the original cowboy, right? So anyway, what I've done is I've written the Maha Mantra on the guitar bass.
Oh, good.
Giving people like that.
Oh, beautiful. There's nice, subtle ways in which to get the message out there. Just like subliminally and in a very overt way, there's brainwash going on, big time, And so that can be done in a subtle way, that get the message out in a kind of soft manner, and it will impact some people.
I just want to say that there are some people who are new to, Bhakti traditions. So maybe could you relay that message, so that everybody can understand what exactly is that, and why is it important, and I try to tell everybody this meeting is so important. It's just one of a kind in your lifetime, So it's just to say the message, because it's. I think I do try to follow Bhakti tradition, but I want, for everybody to hear from you.
Yes, well, so back in 1973, I decided to take up the life of, a monk, and what we call a brahmachari. A brahmachari means somebody who follows the path of Brahman. What is Brahman? Brahman means spirit, as opposed to the consumer world. Try to follow the spiritual world and at the same time balance things nicely in case you want to settle down with family and all that. Brahmachari is like a novice monk stage, where you're young and you're studying the wisdom books. And you also practice simplicity. You refrain from, take any, you don't eat animals, basically. And you don't drink. There's no ganja smoking, no narcotics, anything like this. No gambling. And for the most part, you're just a student. You don't flirt, with the others, in the ashram. And the way our guru set the mission up, he had men and women come to join, because in India it's strictly for men, right? But girls were coming, and so he didn't want to ignore them. And so he brought them in and welcomed them as his students. So this is like an educational culture, you can say, and just to prepare you more for life itself. And what is life all about, after all? Life is about you're born and you die. And in between, there's some fun times and a few bad times. There's disease and old age. Not the best, brightest times of your life. But what do you do in the meantime? There's a side of life that needs to be cultivated, and that is the spiritual side. The Atma, the soul residing in the heart, needs to be awakened, come alive, and realize that life is not just about catering to the senses, or just to try to survive. A lot of people are living in survival mode, unfortunately. But if you can balance that with some spiritual cultivation, that's great. So in our tradition, we believe the most important manifestation of, let's say, the divine or God is sound, pure sound, in the form of mantra. I was raised Catholic, so hallowed be thy name. I used to, what does that hallowed be? What are we talking about here? So we're saying that God, in the manifestation of sound, is what we highlight, and God is also present in the form of instructions, directions. God is there in the form of food, We bless our food, so when you bless it, we call it prasadam, and it means you're eating food that's is consecrated. What else? We for those of us who are serious on this path, will give considerable time to community services, and we've helped a lot of people get off their habits just by purely taking to the bhakti yoga practices, which are simple and which are sublime. There are 4 phases that people can go through in life. First, when you're young, before you get settled down, have millions of kids and do operations, build up your empire, you study, you're a student. It's called brahmachari. Then later you enter into grahastha life. This is how it works formally, with always keeping kind of like God at the center. Written to us is Krishna. That's the name. Krishna's the name. And then later on, it may be, it's very rare, that one later on in their sort of maturing years may like to spend time traveling to different, what we call tirthas, sacred places, sacred grounds, And then on very rare occasions, sometimes the husband and wife, as they really get on in their years, they may just separate and concentrate on spiritual life, send a letter to each other or an email, but that's kind of rare. The main thing is to center your life around higher consciousness and what we call Krishna consciousness. Krishna is simply a name for God that means the all-attractive person. Attractive in the sense of being renounced, being intelligent, the most intelligent, being the most attractive, the most, let's say, learned, and so on like that. So we believe in God. We also believe that there's different aspects of God. There's a personal side of God. There's also an impersonal aspect of God. So it's very, let's say, accepting. It's very inclusive in its approach to the absolute. And just to understand a little bit the philosophy, we're all individual jivas, little spirit souls. And we come into this world out of desire. And while we're here, we struggle somewhat. And we take on a bodily form. And it's a certain sex, it's a certain, person, everyone has their own proclivity, their own nature. It's not just humans, it's not limited to humans. We got every alligator has a soul. Sorry to keep bringing up alligators. I can't help myself.
You have to in Florida.
Yes, you have to. It's natural. Right? Yeah, so that's the way we see the world. There's a supreme powerhouse up there, directing the ways of the world, and we're born individually with a certain kind of karma, certain mindset, and you have to live with it. Accept, okay, I'll do what I can with this, and you follow certain codes, based on your nature. Everyone's got a certain nature, and that's also, those categories are listed in the Gita. But it's all about surrendering. In the end, it's kind of like letting go instead of trying to be the big controller and lording over the material nature. It's much more about just let go of your, whatever you think is going to save you when death is supposed to come. Hopefully the consciousness is clear, and then you'll be in a better situation next time. On one of my visits here in Florida, I was in Clearwater, that area, and a couple of yoga teachers came to listen and to chant with us, and it was a husband and wife team, and they just asked, well, so what do you think, where is this all going to take you, the yoga practices? They just want to hear my opinion. I'm sure they had their own take on things. So I said, well, the whole idea through the yoga process is to get clear, get clean, get purged. Because there's a lot of clutter inside. We have little demons. We have maybe anger issues. Maybe we have greed issues. Perhaps there's jealousy. Certainly many of us have some lust issues. So by cultivating the bhakti side, the spiritual love, then you can address these little demons. And so what I explained to them is, by the time you depart from this world, hopefully your consciousness is clean and cleared, so that you can go in a wholesome state of mind, wish everybody well, and not curse and cuss, like some people do. There's nothing worse than being Mr. Grumps at the end of your life. So that's the idea. And then there's a good chance you can get what we call moksha, or freedom from this world, that you don't have to return back here. So I was raised in the culture where you have one shot deal, okay? And here's it. This is the scenario. You be good, you be obedient, God will take you to heaven. You might get some wings. Okay, it's very simplistic, the way I'm presenting it to you. And if you're bad, you go down to where it's hot.
You go to Florida.
So then in our particular tradition, it's a little bit, well, you've lost opportunities. If you don't make the grade, then you get this other opportunity. This is discussed between Krishna and Arjuna in the Gita. Arjuna says, you might not, if I do not make it, then where do I end up? And Krishna says, another chance. Yeah.
Another chance.
Another chance. Prabhu, you also had your hand up.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you. I'm friends with a Buddhist monk from Thailand. Very funny guy, and he's a professional. He's got a PhD in psychology and all that. So he said to me, I get really embarrassed. I said, why? He said, because I was going in the public. He said, you can go to the bank, to the teller, people are standing in a line and they all move out, make room for me. You know, so he said, I just don't know. I mean, I'm humble, but I just don't know how to handle it because of the preferential treatment. You know, he said, that's the. I said, well, I mean, I just enjoy it, you know.
Right, that's nice.
Yeah.
The funny thing happened to me when I was in Ireland, and I was in one place in the countryside, and there was an army battalion, I guess you could say, in training, and they had to be right on the next to the road where I was walking. Like I was just walking on the side of the road, and I didn't, you know, I was kind of befuddled. I didn't know what to think, but each one of those guys stepped aside, one by one, as if I was some army officer coming through. I was just I'm just a monk. That's all. But I guess they had it built into their system, you know, one of respect, kind of like the yes sir, which I believe a lot of people need to learn. If you don't learn it, you'll learn it later on. Yeah, so sometimes you get that kind of treatment, and once in a while you get, like I'm speaking for myself, once in a while you get the redneck treatment. And that's also okay because it's very
And
humble.
that's ignorance for the most part.
From their side, but
Yeah.
for my side, says, okay, I need that. I need to be humiliated a little bit, and that's okay. And that's good for me. Good.
I mean, for a normal person, your ego will get this big.
Yeah.
You know. But,
Yes, yeah. The whole idea is to bring that ego down. You know, it's really, the ego is just like a hot air balloon. All you just have to static it deflates and becomes what it really is, which is just a little bit of plastic. So we need that once in a while.
I mean, could you talk to me a little bit more about ego? How I've heard one time that somebody said ego is the first thing that when trouble comes, ego will be the first thing that goes away, and now you're on your own to deal with that, whatever happened. I'm just curious if you can like summarize what you would say to somebody else what ego is and how you should kind of work with it, I guess.
Work with it. We talked about it earlier on. Ego stands for edging God out. Edging God out. EGO. Now, somebody who's got an ego, they really just think, I'm hot. I'm something really special. I was born, and when I was born, the world had more meaning. Right? So I think that how to contend with the ego is the opposite is humility, and to perform acts of humility. Like in the ashram, when you go in for training, you know, as a monk or a nun, said they'll have you take up some chores. What are those chores? Clean the toilet, wash the pots. That's more for the guys. Wash the, wash the. So it has an amazing cleansing effect, like internally. So it's the idea is to deflate the tendency to think that you are special.
But sometimes it does help you, doesn't it? To think that way in certain situations, to overcome or to give yourself a push. That's why I'm saying work with it, you know?
Oh, sure.
I understand what you're talking about when you're humble and you're thankful and you're grateful for everything, that balances you. But it feels like sometimes, especially maybe in America, you feel like you need a little bit of a push to yourself, but not confused with arrogance, but get a little bit from ego, like, I am special because I know there are situations where I am better at certain things than other people, maybe by talent or ability or getting there.
but you don't feel this special.
What I can maybe offer.
You're maybe realize there's other people who are,
Right.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, maybe there's other people.
I
who
mean,
will
there's
help you with that.
good ego and bad ego.
There's something that our guru used to say, be a lion on the chase and a lamb at home.
Be a lion on the chain.
Lion on the chase
Oh,
and a lamb at home.
no, yeah.
So when it comes to business,
You are
you
lying.
know, you might have to, show a little bit forwardness and, like confidence, show confidence. But it shouldn't be ego-based. I think as long as listen, I'm the spirit. I'm not this body. As profound as that is, I'm not this body. I'm the spirit within the body. The real person is not what you think it is. It's not this physical self. It's not the personality. It's not related to the machine. It's the driver in the machine that's important. Yes.
Yeah.
You gotta go. You gotta let the ego go.
That's a have to go. He says, yeah.
Oh, you
We're gonna see you tomorrow, right? Okay. We're gonna see you tomorrow at Tampa. Is this? Okay.
They have a mantra that says,
This one?
I'm not in my body, I'm not even in my mind. Meaning that you should detach yourself, right?
Yes.
He said, I'm not in my body and I'm not even in my mind,
Right.
right? So it's,
Yeah. The mind is also not where you are.
Yeah, when you meditate, sometimes you reach that perception, you realize, yeah,
The mind is just a
I'm
subtle
getting something
body.
from somewhere else right now.
The mind is like a subtle body. It's got nothing to do with you. It may have something to do with your karma, your interactions with people here in this level. But ultimately, it's got nothing to do with you. You're separated from the body and the mind. And the sooner you realize that and assimilate it, you put it into practice. It's really quite a liberating feeling. But thanks for asking that question.
I actually have another question for you.
Sure.
First, I wanted to comment on what you said about Thailand. I just came back from Asia. In Thailand, when you go on a bus or a metro, the first few seats are for like moms,
monks, yeah.
and then monks also. So
Right.
moms, pregnant people, women, with people, and then
Alright.
monks also.
The monks, yeah.
So there is a lot of respect, and also it's interesting to see monks doing. Well, it's interesting to see in Asia monks doing everyday activities like checking their phones, riding motorbikes, being carried by motorbikes. It kind of makes them more human people,
Oh, yeah.
you know, not just somebody who lives in a temple. So the question, I had two questions actually. First is, you talked about feeling nature, feeling things strongly when you walk through. How did the perception change daytime to nighttime? What did you feel if there's something different when you're at night? And surroundings are way different.
Yeah.
Did you think about something else? Did you think about recurring things maybe at night versus day that you noted? Just the
Yeah, I would say that in the different phases of time, or the three, call it different phases of the day. The early morning is really the best time for any endeavor, like meditation. We call it the Brahma Muhurta hour, before the sun comes up.
This is something I've noticed in Vietnam. When the sun comes up, you feel this strong energy, and sometimes when you're sleeping, it wakes you up, and you go, "What's going on? Why am I awake right now?" And it's just this day coming. And I never knew about this. I just felt it.
That's the nature, like the birds,
Yeah.
Now, I used to stay up all night, but now by 9 o'clock I'm in bed, and by 4:35 I'm up.
Your head is really fresh in the early morning. And then as you get closer to noon, the passion builds up, With passion in people, just the energy all around you, The rush hour, after the rush hour. Just,
And the best time is solve a problem is the morning when you wake up. Your mind is so fresh. So you have a huge problem and you have to look for an answer. And that's the early morning when you wake up. That's the best time.
Can you hear him? He said the morning is the best time to solve your problem.
It's called Brahma Muhurta.
yeah.
The gods also.
For me, I create better at night. So when I create, I write books. When I create at night, it's solitude. There's nobody bothering you.
I have the same kind of experience. I'm a little bit of an insomniac, and that means that I'm very active at night, can be, in a more creative way. Writing, listening to music, dreaming, projects, plans.
Yes, of course.
I feel the same way about winter.
Were you born in July?
No,
No.
October.
You feel creative in the winter.
Yeah, the winter is a good time. According to culture in India, they have what's called Chaturmasya. Those are the months of the rainy season when you're restricted from moving, and it's more about planning, meditating, dreaming.
It is very hard to do something when it's sunny outside and good weather. You just want to get out and go to the beach, go to the mountains, ride the motorbike.
Yeah.
It's so hard to work.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So winter to me is great.
Because it's a very active
Pardon? You're talking about me?
yeah.
Okay. Well, Vata and Sampita, a little bit of everything. I don't know if everyone knows about the doshas, but I'm sorry if I'm sort of emptying out a box, but I do have some books available if anybody's interested. This book is about the walk across the U.S., Canada, and all the other countries, the people that you meet. It's an easy read, and short chapters, so.
Is it available on Amazon?
It is.
It is?
It is, yes. And there's another.
We don't have booksellers anymore, except Amazon.
Yeah, so if anybody's interested, we've got there, and I'll sign them as well.
Just want to express our deepest gratitude to Maharaj for giving his time, his energy, and wonderful stories from the walking journey. Let's express our gratitude by 3 times loudly chanting Haribo!
Haribo! Haribo! Haribo!
So Maharaj will
How much
be
is this
leaving
book?
shortly.
How much is
And
this
then we have a
book?
program on Friday in Tampa, that's tomorrow night. We also have a program on Saturday morning in Naples.
Can I have the 20?
So if you or your friends would like to join, please let us know. And if you want to offer any donation of gratitude, of love to Maharaj, either cash or through different online apps, you can do that now because Maharaj will be leaving in about 10 minutes. Thank you again, friends. Hare Krishna. And you can also get a book now, and Maharaj will sign it.
So Helen and I are getting married this month, so you have to put something in there. A
Okay.
blessing, I'm looking for blessings,
Okay.
please.
I will do that. Well, just give me